Hello, my name is Kimberly Tolbane, and welcome to my PD on library literacy strategies with book speed dating. And first off, let's just go over an overview of what we'll be talking about during this PD. We're going to start with what is book speed dating, and then we'll talk about student choice in this lesson, and then young adult literature, how that plays a role in book speed dating, and then how students can reflect on this whole lesson, and then references will be at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, this is book speed dating, and you might be asking, what is this? So book speed dating is when the librarian or teacher selects books for students to quickly date. A date would typically consist of a certain timed amount in which students look at the title, author, front and back cover, condition of the book. They read the blurbs, open the book, and look at the white space, illustrations, font size, and if time, they'll read a bit inside. If they're interested in a book, then they get to go on a date with it. They get to go and check it out. So an example of what book speed dating would look like and how to do it, this is more of like a how-to speed date. This is going to open up a blog, and this woman's name is Mrs. Reader Pants. This is a great blog if you've never checked it out. But she did try out speed dating, and what she's done here is given us an idea of a setup for it and how it worked for her. So you can see, here's just one of the library tables. You can see them here in the back as well with just a group of books on there. First off, she said the lesson is awesome. So everything I've read, there's been great reviews for this lesson. And so here is what she did. Her prep was just decide how many tables she wants to set up. So she set up 9 tables with 4 chairs at each table. And each table was set up with a different genre. So here she's showing us romance with a few romance novels here. Or just books, literature. And for the reading resource classes that she has, she chose high interest genres, and I list these later for you. She used horror, humor, manga, nonfiction, survival, romance. She had 9 tables, so she had plenty of different genres for kids to choose from, with about 10 to 15 books on each table to represent that genre. And then she had a sign there telling the students what they were. So students could sit at any table. So a lot of them probably would glance at the genre and kind of just sit where they knew they would be interested. And they didn't have to say a word about what they were doing. They were just told to sit anywhere. So from that point, she shows them this little slideshow, which you can also download if you wanted to use her way. So what is speed dating? First impressions, looks, and specs. Getting to know you. Sometimes you find a match, and sometimes you move on. So you're literally just dating books. So she goes over do's and don'ts. You get 3-minute reading time. You focus only on the date you choose. If you don't find a match, you keep on looking. They'll have time to check out from the whole library at the end. Some of the lessons I saw, they just tell the kid to go and check out the book. If you find a match, just go and check it out. And that way you can claim that one as your date. If you find a book that you like, what she has is just keep it in the scope. But a lot of times they'll tell the student just to keep on to it because they don't want to lose it. It says, be respectful to your date and the dates of others. Do not change books once the 3 minutes starts. Do not try to read someone else's book once the 3 minutes starts. Focus on your date. It's only 3 minutes. Do not talk during the 3-minute reading time. So there's options to talk in other lessons. She's choosing for the kids not to talk in this one. Alright, so here's what they do for each minute, and she would probably have this on the board as the kids are looking at their dates or their books. So first minute, they're just picking a table and looking through the books. Second minute, they choose a book, look at the front, read the blurb on the back, look at the size of the print, the white space, any illustrations, and they start reading the book. Minutes 3 to 5 are reading, and pretty much most kids will start with the first chapter. And then at the end of minute 5, they would go and change tables and try a different genre. Some allow you to just stay at the same table if you're interested in another book there, so that's another option as well. So this just shows some other photos, and I put these in later in my presentation as well. And she writes out longer, if you wanted to make your own directions, you could always make your own slides for this. So then she goes and reflects on the lesson. And there's some ideas down here if you wanted to go and look at that. But this is a great blog and gives you some great ways if you would like to do one of these lessons in your class. So this is book speed dating. This is like the gist of it. So let's go back to our presentation. This one here is a video with speed dating instructions. So this is another option you can make in just an Animoto. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you.
Down the shore, there's a box under the sand. It's a case for catch me if you can. Make a mess for any other man, but darling, if you wanna dig, count your steps, 1, 2, 3. Make your mark on little old me. When you come to something waiting to be free, do it as fast as you can. Under the sun, right in the sand, holding me in the palm of your hand, right before God and all of the men. Well, I'll be yours, I'll be yours. Lift the lid on the treasure chest. Take your pick, disregard the rest. Now and then, I think we said it best when we said nothing at all. Under the sun, right in the sand, holding me in the palm of your hand, right before God and all of the men. I'll be yours, I am yours, baby, I'm cold.
So they just made that with Animoto, and what I really like about it is that it's fun for the kids. It catches their eye. It has some catchy little things in there, like, you know, shallow conversations and stuff that the kids would definitely find funny, and get them motivated to do the speed dating game. So this was a great one, and I also like at the end how they can go on a blind date with a book if they didn't see anything they like and take a chance on a book that they haven't met yet. All right, the next thing that I have for you is an alternative speed book dating lesson, and I talk again later on about this. What this is notice how the kids are sitting in the video before I hit play. So it's going to go over a different method of speed dating rather than just having books at a table with the kids going around to each table. This is just an alternative way to do the speed dating. So there's a lot of different ways you can make this work for you. Okay, so this is just another format to do the book speed dating. It seems like either option, would be nice. For this one, it's more discussion, and kids are being able to reflect on their own readings a little bit more and explain those to their classmates. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to talk about is student choice. So how student choice plays into this. So reading should not be presented to a child as a chore, a duty. It should be offered as a gift. Kate D. Camilio. You want to allow for student choice. According to Skeeters, when students are routinely assigned books to read without any opportunity to act on their own judgment, many end up dreading the reading and often fail or refuse to complete it. But we provide students with choices, even within parameters like our book speed reading. They make their own decisions and they feel empowered and important. Empowering students to choose in these early experiences sets them up for success as lifelong readers. So I really like this because that is what our goal is. We want to have lifelong readers as librarians. And so by allowing for student choice, we're able to connect with the students. So Bond discusses how young adults are going through a number of developmental changes that influence their reading interest. Their social identity is developing. They are necessarily negotiating new roles in their families and in their work and leisure. Love becomes an issue for them. Peers are becoming increasingly important, resulting in peer pressure and conformity as major issues. And teens are becoming sensitive to the complexities of life. So how does this relate to book speed dating? Book speed dating is going to allow for student choice. It allows for the students to have the opportunity to discover a genre or literature that connects to their daily lives. Even more importantly, book speed dating engages students to access literature and helps show options available to them. One of the things I really love about this is kids are going to be looking at books that they might have never seen before. Like, they're not going to go over to the shelf maybe in the nonfiction section and pull off anything. So to have them there that they can go through and have something catch their eye is really worthwhile with this lesson. So, creating a book speed dating lesson divided by high interest themes or genres, and I'm listing the ones that were in Mrs. Reader Pants here: the horror, humor, manga, nonfiction, survival, romance, sports, and realistic fiction, is an excellent way to engage your students and allow for student choice. So these are examples from her with her romance and nonfiction. Next is incorporating young adult literature into your speed book reading. So young adult literature is specifically marketed and written for the teen audience. YA literature really deals acutely with the issues and emotions that speak to the lives of young adults. Some attributes of young adult literature is that they're written for young adults, read by young adults. There's usually a teenage protagonist, but not all of the time, and it has a young adult perspective. So the literature creates lifelong readers. And speed dating is going to allow you to include the classics that many teachers choose for whole class readings, but more importantly, many of the young adult selections. So according to Bond, if we want students to become lifelong readers, we need to have them reading for pleasure. And to do that, they need to encounter books that are relevant to them. And that's just what these YA selections are going to do for them. So overall, Bond lists a lot of benefits to young adult literature. They can reconnect young people with the idea of reading for pleasure, engages reader in literary worlds, and so helps develop the imagination, involves narrative that reflects the way young people construct and communicate their realities, provides vicarious experiences and new perspectives, reveals patterns of experience and insights into the human condition, cumulatively enhances reading and writing skills, builds vocabulary and literary discourse at an appropriate level, enhances grammatical understanding, helps develop familiarity with story structures and convention, and introduces facts and cultural knowledge embedded in the story. So all of this is from Bond. It provides massive amounts of benefits, and it opens up so much more student choice and independent reading opportunities for your children. Lastly, is reflection. So students have several options to reflect on their book date. They can engage in written notes during their book date. They can discuss their book with peers during the date, or they can discuss their options with peers after dating. So written reflection is part where students can be assigned to create their own notes on the book dates, or you can provide them with a guide or form to follow where they list and rate parts of the books. Students can keep that list for later literature selections. So video example with written reflection embedded in the instructions here.
Using Powtoon.
Okay, so this was really simple instructions that included a written component, them just reflecting on the book. You could also do something like this, a book speed dating form, where they list the title, author, and then they give some ratings on the book with a score and whether they want to date the book, take out the book. So this, you could embed more comments into this or more reflection. You can really make this as much or little as you want for your students. And then the other option is to do a discussion. So students can reflect during or after the book dates by discussing the books in small or large groups, or they can discuss books one-on-one. Bond suggests larger group discussions because it'll include a variety of titles, so there's something for everyone. So overall, that's what I have for you for book speed dating. Last thing is just my references. So I'll leave these up for just a second. I've got 3 pages of them. So I'll leave these here, but thank you so much for listening to my PD. There is a follow-up reflection that will be posted in the discussion board for you. And I can talk a little bit about that as I show the next page. It'll be for you to create your own book, speed book dating form, and then to reflect on, to actually date a book off of, out of your school library or public library, and then to reflect on it. So hopefully that'll be a little fun for you. And my last page of references. Thank you so much for joining me on this book speed dating experience.